pre-viability abortion has been legal in Iowa for the last 50 years. All we ask is that this court leave that status quo in place pending a final judgment at the district court.
The Iowa Supreme Court heard arguments today over a temporarily blocked law banning most abortions in the state at around 6 weeks. Now, a lot has led up to today, so here's a timeline of how we got here. Back in 2018, Governor Kim Reynolds signed a law preventing most abortions at 6 weeks. Opponents then filed a lawsuit, which led to a judge-issued injunction. Now, in 2019, a district court ruled the law violated the state's constitution. Now, in 2022, the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, ending constitutional protections for abortion. The original case in Iowa then went back to the state Supreme Court. The Iowa Supreme Court, now mostly appointed by Reynolds, then reversed its previous ruling. Abortion was no longer a protected right in Iowa, but the injunction remained. Now, in 2023, Reynolds called for a special session and passed a new 6-week abortion ban. Another lawsuit followed, and another injunction followed by an appeal from Iowa's Attorney General. All of this led up to the state Supreme Court hearing arguments today on the law that's currently on pause. Our Connor O'Neill sat in on the case today and joins us now to share what you heard today, Connor, from each side.
Yeah, Stephanie, as you alluded to, this is the third straight year the Iowa Supreme Court is deciding whether the state constitution protects abortion rights, and it's all to answer the question of what constitutional standard the court should use to assess abortion laws. State attorneys told the Iowa Supreme Court Thursday it should review abortion laws under rational basis. It's a less restrictive standard when addressing statute constitutionality.
The state is confident that this law, which was duly enacted by the legislature and is entitled to the presumption of constitutionality, will survive that review.
The state wants the injunction removed so the law banning abortions can be unblocked and take effect again.
Is that something that we can decide as applies to this particular statute, or do we need to send it back and let the district court apply that standard since it has not had a chance to?
Justice Oxley, who was recused in the 2023 case, once again asked the state what constitutional standard the court should use and which court should be the one to potentially apply it. On the other side, Planned Parenthood of the Heartland argued the court should use the undue burden standard, which considers obstacles Iowans would face when seeking an abortion if the injunction were removed.
Rational basis is simply inconsistent with the importance of these rights, and undue burden is the correct standard. And so this court should affirm because the district court correctly applied undue burden and did not abuse its discretion in doing so.
Most time each side spent addressing the court Thursday questioned the court's previous rulings on abortion rights cases.
As the district court held, this is a narrow opinion, and those words mean something. That is the controlling precedent in this court right now.
Like this court in 2022, he recognized that there are important values on both sides of this issue. But what he said is that, like in the Iowa Constitution, in the federal Constitution, there is no right to be found for abortion.
State attorneys argued the Iowa Constitution doesn't protect abortion, but Planned Parenthood said the court doesn't have to follow the U.S. Supreme Court's decision in the Dobbs case.
If this court were to embrace the undue burden standard in Iowa, it could chart its own path and say what the standard governing abortion restrictions will be in Iowa.
Abortion remains legal in Iowa up to 20 weeks, pending a decision in this case. The Supreme Court has until the end of June to issue a decision. Stephanie?
Connor, thank you very much. Governor Kim Reynolds released a statement in response to the arguments today. She said in part, quote, "The unborn had their day at the Iowa Supreme Court. As a pro-life governor, I will do everything I can to protect the innocent unborn and promote strong, healthy families."